Let's go.
Hey everyone, and welcome back or welcome to my channel. With what I think should be 1 month-ish away from Blackpink's contracts being up, I thought that I would try to predict whether Blackpink would renew their contracts with YG Entertainment. The plan is to look into what I see are the different factors that may influence their decision, and then weigh them on an overall basis to come to my own prediction as to whether they may renew or not. Obviously, we might see things differently or weigh certain factors way more than others, so feel free to drop a comment down below on your thoughts, but also maybe wait to hear out the different factors I'll discuss before you write a comment too. I mean, up to you. But yeah, before I start, I'd appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to my channel. Without further ado, let's start off with the first factor. I mean, this could go either way, honestly. Blackpink has amassed a growing and loyal fandom named the Blinks, which they could feel indebted to in terms of continuing by renewing with YG. If we're being for real, there should be no issues with maintaining their friendships with or without YG, and so it feels like Blinks could be a major reason as to whether they may renew or not. Blinks have also seen the mismanagement of YG. I mean, people that have followed K-pop for a while now should know about the infamous YG dungeon that has placed many into long hiatuses. And with these long hiatuses, it low-key feels like it has stripped a lot of the passion that the members have had for music, or maybe just the whole politics of K-pop industry and the idol life in general. As a result, many Blinks think that not renewing would be the best for them to actually move on to better things. If Blackpink were to consider Blinks, then they could also go towards this route too. Obviously, they would still be able to be together without being in YG, since we did see 21 at Coachella, but in saying that, YG has trademarked the 21 branding and have also done this for Blackpink, which this will mean that it'll be harder to promote them as the Blackpink quartet. This leads me back to the idea of renewing with YG, which would just give them that certainty that they'll all be managed with the same branding, which means this contrasts them potentially thriving elsewhere. However, there is a bit more effort and uncertainty with trying to find time to come together as a group if they did start to get busy with their own things. And then to add to that, this then gets a bit more complicated because where would they be on the priority list if they did renew things? Which does lead me to the next point. With what seems to be the 5th generation being ushered in, we'll now be 2 generations away from when Blackpink debuted. This means even more competition within the industry as more groups seem to debut and start to secure a piece of that popularity pie. Obviously, Blackpink is still basically in their prime, and so this might not be as big of a problem, but the Korean demographic tend to like younger idols, which might explain the future of YG and be a slight problem for Blackpink. Within YG, they've got their new Blackpink in the form of Baby Monster, who's set to debut within this year. This mirrors similar to when Blackpink debuted as the new 21, meaning YG still has a piece of that pie with at least one girl group still within their company if Blackpink doesn't decide to renew. I've heard people say that they could be moving to the Black label considering most of their music is made by Teddy. However, there's also been news of them trying to debut a new girl group as well, which means it really could be a slight battle between giving priority between the newer generation and Blackpink. These have been all kind of the reasons why they might leave due to the even further reduced prioritization of the group. But once again, that big 3 privilege puts them in an exception for older groups and instead gain the greater benefits of being seniors. I mean, with the amount of promotions that they get, it clearly won't be a drastic change for what's been the usual. As a result, YG and Blackpink can respectfully milk the Blackpink branding Blackpink has accumulated around 40 songs within their 7-year career. That includes collaborations and solos, which means that they've released close to 6 songs every year on average. Just in comparison with their popularity, this just does not make sense. This is my favorite comparison. IOI was a temporary girl group and debuted within the same year. They only got 8 proper months of promotions before they had to respectively go back to their companies. Well, within their 8 short months, months, they accumulated close to 20 songs within their catalog. That's already almost half of Blackpink's catalog, and they've been together for more than 7-ish years. Another surprising fact is that it took Blackpink 4 years, with them finally releasing the album called The Album, to surpass the amount of songs that IOI had recorded within that short 8 months. Like, how is that even fact? As well as that, Teddy essentially has been known to reuse the same formula to recycle very similar songs after each drought. The only major outlier was their final era of Bornpink. Plus, if we were to consider the solos of each member, all of them were pretty different and could potentially show signs of the different routes that they're potentially wanting to go. All this to say, depending on how into the music they feel right now, we could definitely see pivots into different areas, as the world is kind of their oyster with the level of fame that they have. It doesn't mean that they have to leave YG to get this level of artistic or musical freedom. However, with the popularity that they've all accrued, YG will need to have better terms for the girls that allow them to do more. But yeah, the bottom line is that not having Blackpink will not be the end or be all for their careers, as their brand and connections with the fans has transcended beyond the need to just release music as the Blackpink quartet. The final era seems to be full on, which could go either way. Either YG could be trying to milk them before they leave, or just because they know they're going to continue, they can continue to run through the schedules like normal. Schedules not slowing down while in their contract renewal period could be a good sign, since for the most part, we see companies put their artists into small hiatuses while they figure out what their future is. This might be a me thing, but I also feel like the songs within Bornpink don't seem to have hit harder than the previous eras, and yet we can still feel the impact of Blackpink and this whole Bornpink era. Despite how easy it feels like it could lean towards them renewing their contract, they then gave us that title track of Shutdown, which combines the heavy girl crush that Blackpink embodies with the nostalgic references to their previous eras. There is tons of symbolism towards them essentially shutting down their eras through outfit choices, set designs, to blatantly just collage-esque type of art of their title tracks. There is a greater feel of reminiscing about the past and their career. What adds to this potentially being their final era is the fact that it ends with them going up and entering this new scenery of an empty path with closed doors. No references, no symbols, just essentially a blank canvas for Blackpink members to fill with what's to come. However, as there's nothing more than that after the scene, we're left to interpret as to whether they're referring to the future as their own individual beings, or whether this refers to the group as a whole. So once again, we're back to kind of square one with the whole it could go either way. And with this being my last point, all I can do is final thoughts. Overall, I think Blackpink will either renew all as a group or have at least one member leave. I don't think I can see them all leave just because they're in such a beneficial place where they don't seem to be quote unquote overworked, and so they may want to continue to reap the benefits before deciding not to renew after the next contract renewals. With Baby Monster set to debut, I just feel like YG will try at least to create more hype with them. This will clearly mean less group activities for Blackpink, which I feel like the members are relatively accustomed to, but this means they can potentially get more opportunities to do more and just go into different areas that they want to try. Despite YG being YG, I think there are very few companies that are big enough to provide the proper support needed for the members. And then, if they can, there's no truly great company that hasn't been hit with some kind of controversy. It's kind of like choosing the lesser of two evils, which the Blackpink members could feel a slight bit more comfortability knowing the ins and outs of YG Entertainment. But yeah, in terms of who I think could leave, I think it would be either Rosé or Jennie. I don't know why, but I feel like Jennie seems like the type who would want to retire or move elsewhere to become a bit more low-key with the way that she's been attacked. she really is an it girl and will be able to pivot anywhere. And so she could really just gap it and take a break before she even decides to return to the industry if she wanted to. As for Rosé, I think that she seems the most passionate about music and she feels the most likely to want to leave so that she can release more music. Regardless of what happens in the coming months with their contract renewals, I'm just wishing them the best and hopefully they go on to do even greater things. But yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching and let me know your thoughts and whether you think Blackpink will renew their contracts. Regardless of whether they do also let me know what you think about their career moving forward and what you think it could be like both within and without YG. Both in terms of frequencies of comeback and their priority in terms of their solo work. My next video will either be looking at another Queendom review, the whole Blockberry situation, or my 3rd gen filler member video, which has really fallen down the priority list. But yeah, if you're interested in any of these ideas, then please like and subscribe to keep up to date, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!